So we're back with Monster Hearts today. We'll be starting off Chapter 5, The Skins. The Fae. At the edges of this world, just beyond the veil, there are colors that few mortals even dream of. Beauty enough to shatter any heart. The Fae live and breathe at the edges of this world. They keep a dusting of that magic tucked behind their ears just in case. And the Fae are willing to share. They're nothing if not generous, asking for only one thing in return. A promise. Keep it, and the true beauty of the world will be revealed. Break it, and feel the wrath of fairy vengeance. Playing the Fae. Alluring, otherworldly, fickle, and vengeful, the Fae entices people into making promises and wields vengeance when those promises are broken. They also have the ability to commune with ethereal forces just beyond the veil. The two stat choices for the Fae allow you to slant toward being either beautiful and mysterious, hot 2 and dark 1, or audacious and alien, volatile 2 and hot 1. With the constantly low cold stat, they aren't prone to being very chill, cynical, or wry. From their forward sensuality to their unwavering sense of justice, sincerity is a big theme for the Fae. When you play the Fae, promises matter. Use the Fae's allure and wit to tease those promises out of other characters. You can add mechanical incentive for others to make promises to you by spending strings to tempt them to do what you want, or through the move lure. Keep track of the promises that others make to you in the margins of your character sheet or on scrap paper. Beyond the Veil, Guide, the option to join a jury of Fae and talk of fairy justice all invite you to collaboratively imagine the world of fairy. To do so, ask questions of the MC, anticipate questions being asked of you in return, and brace yourself for surprise. Your backstory. You wear your heart on your sleeve. Give everyone one string. You've captured someone's fancy. Gain 2 strings on them. Then the 2 stat blocks it gave you. Darkest Self. Everything you say seems a promise. Everything you hear seems a promise. If a promise is broken, justice must be wrought in trickery or blood. You aren't subject to the human rules of mercy. To escape your darkest self, you must, in some way, rebalance the scales of justice. Advancement. Add +1 to one of your stats. Take another Fae move. Take another Fae move. Take a move from any skin. Take a move from any skin. You belong to a jury of Fae. Sex move. When you lie naked with another, you can ask them for a promise. If they refuse, take 2 strings on them. Fae moves. You get Fairy Contract and choose one more. Fairy Contract. If someone breaks a promise or contract made to you, take a string on them. In spending a string to even out the score and to get justice on a broken promise, add these options to pulling strings. They fuck up something simple at a crucial moment, suffering one harm if appropriate, or add two to your role on an act of vengeance. Unashamed. You can give someone a string on you to add three to your attempt to turn them on. The wild hunt. When you draw upon your most feral manner, echoing the lithe movements of a cat or the veracity of a wolf, add one to your roll to turn someone on. Lure. Whenever someone makes a promise to you, they mark experience. Whenever someone breaks a promise to you, you mark experience. Well, yeah, that seems like a pretty powerful move to pick starting out. Guide. If you spend a string on someone willing, you can bring them across the veil into the fairy realm. The spell lasts for a scene or two before you're both returned to the mundane world and beyond the veil. To seek audience with the Fairy King, gaze into the abyss. On a 10 up, in addition to other results, the Fairy King reveals to you a hidden string on someone. Gain it. On a 7 to 9, in addition to other results, the Fairy King demands a favor of you. The Ghost. You used to have a future. Growing up was a painful tumult at times, but at least you were growing. Now, you only have a past, unfinished business to take care of before you can leave this world behind. Life is precious. You understand that now that you have lost yours. You just want to help. You just want to be seen. But sometimes even the simplest desires feel so difficult to grasp. Ghosty ghost, you're dead. Playing the ghost. Lonely, wounded, and creepy, the ghost has experienced intense trauma and now seeks validation and intimacy. They have the potential to provide care and healing for others, but also tend to ignore personal and physical boundaries. The two stat choices for the ghost let you steer toward being either icy and distant, cold and dark 1, or scary and moody, dark and volatile 1. Your ghost might end up crying out for help, pushing away the very people they care about, or burning themselves out, trying to take care of others. At the start of the game, the ghost low hot stat means they aren't good at turning someone on. This plays into their core dilemma. Without social power, how does the ghost get the attention and support they need? Maybe they're endlessly hoping for reciprocation. Helpful spirit and transference both point them in that direction. Maybe they aren't mean and spiteful, assuming from the outset that they aren't worthy of affection. Unresolved trauma and projected blame provide a different dynamic, suggesting a mean and spiteful ghost who lashes out at those who remind them of what they've lost. Creep and limitless add a voyeuristic element, encouraging the ghost to ignore others' boundaries. Lots of other possibilities exist in the interactions between these moves, too. Then it gives you some threads to pull on if you're not sure of creating your character. Your backstory. Someone knows that you're dead and how you died. They gain 2 strings on you. You've been inside someone's bedroom while they were sleeping. take a string on them. Stats, the 2 stat blocks you can choose from. Darkest Self. You become invisible, unnoticeable. No one can see you, feel you, or hear your voice. You can still affect inanimate objects, but this is your only avenue of communication. You escape your darkest self when someone acknowledges your presence and demonstrates how much they want you around. And your advancement choices, which these seem pretty much the exact same as the Fae, just taking a bonus, then choosing 4 moves, 2 from your own skin, 2 from any skin, and then some sort of greater the Fae one was very specific, but it doesn't really say anything about what being in a haunted house implies for this one. Your sex move. When you have sex with someone, you both get to ask a question of one another. This can be asked in character or player to player. They must answer honestly and directly. Ghost moves. You get unresolved trauma and choose 2 more. Oh, that's interesting, because I think the Fae, you only get to choose 1 at creation. So this almost pushes you as the ghost to really want to, which makes sense since you once were something else. This really, because there aren't that many ghost moves. There's only 4, or no, there are 5. But since you start with 2, you're probably already going to get all you want by the time you pick your 2 ghost moves for advancement. And so that really pushes you to take moves from other skins, whereas the Fae, maybe you would want to take 2 more Fae moves. Unresolved trauma. Whenever something brings to mind your death, you choke up and gain the condition traumatized, if you don't have it already. Whenever someone helps you resolve this condition, you both mark experience. Helpful spirit. When you help someone resolve a condition, gain a string on them. Transference. Whenever you spend time truly listening to someone else's struggles, they heal 1 harm and then transfer the remaining harm to you. Projected blame. While you're traumatized, you may act as though others had the condition at fault for my death. Creep. When you silently witness someone in one of their most private moments, perhaps sleeping or putting on makeup, gain a string on them. Limitless. You can walk through walls and fly. The Ghoul. Death changed you. It took away your contemplative joy. It dulled your senses and left you impossibly hungry. That hunger is always with you, like a hum in your ears that swells and crescendos until you can't hear anything else. Unattended, it will come to dominate you, but feeding it may just be as bad. There is a certain beauty to what you've become. Your gaunt body, it's a natural form. It draws people in. Your stark disinterest is beguiling, but underneath that disaffected presentation, the hunger. The hunger. Playing the ghoul. Obsessive, dangerous, morbid, and quiet. The ghoul is constantly contending with voracious hunger, and the emotional distance brought on by death makes it easier to do bad things in pursuit of feeding. They might be a flesh-eating zombie, or maybe something a little more subtle and strange. The two stat choices for the ghoul paint a portrait of the character as either cruel and erratic, volatile 2 and cold 1, or disaffected and portentous, cold 2 and dark 1. Since the hunger forces you to keep your cool to avoid a feeding opportunity, your cold stat plays a pivotal role in maintaining self-control. Watchful Golem and a Spirit Day Corpse, it's a bad pun, both present the ability to steer the ghoul in complete different directions. Are you watching over others out of a deep-rooted but unexpressed sense of care? Are you skulking around serving them because death took away your sense of independence? Short Rest for the Wicked is a recipe for pandemonium. It's an invitation for the MC to frame you into a new dramatic situation. A lot can happen in a few hours. Your sex move prompts you to create a new hunger. It can be anything you'd like, and it's added to your character alongside their existing hungers. If you have sex often, you'll find your appetite growing wider and weirder all the time. Then some character ideas. Your backstory. Someone reminded you what love was, and you thought that death had stolen it away from you forever. Give them a string. Did anyone watch you die? If so, you gain 2 strings on each other. Your 2 stat lines. Darkest Self, your dull hunger sharpens. You can't focus on anything else but feeding. In addition to your peculiar cravings, you recognize something else, that primordial hunger which connects all hungers, flesh, blood, meat. You escape your darkest self once you've overindulged or have been locked out for long enough to regain composure. And then it looks like the special ghoul advancement is being part of a reckless crew. Sex move. When you have sex with someone else, create a new hunger. Ghoul moves. You get the hunger and choose 2 more. The hunger. You have a hunger for 1. Fear, power, plunder, or thrills. When you heedlessly pursue a hunger, add 1 to rolls. When you ignore a promising feeding opportunity, roll to keep your cool. What the right hand wants. Your body contains many histories and it desires many things. Create another hunger. That seems... I don't know, I suppose it could be useful to do it whenever you want, but it just really seems like you've got enough avenues already to create more hungers, but I don't know. Satiety. When you satiate a hunger, choose one. Heal one harm. Mark experience. Take one forward. Short rest for the wicked. When you die, wait it out. A few hours later, you wake up fully healed. Watchful golem. When you defend someone without them ever knowing about it, mark experience. Ending. You remember every detail of your death. When you tell someone about it, give them the condition morbid and roll to turn them on with cold. Esprit de corpse. When you gaze into the abyss will share with you its hunger. Treat that hunger as one of your own until you satiate it, and mark experience when you do. The hollow. They set out to make something from nothing. It's not clear whether they succeeded. See, it turns out there's a lot of gray area between something and nothing. You're alive, but you're not real. You don't have a soul. You don't have childhood memories because you don't have a childhood. You don't have parents. You have makers, and those makers forgot to give you a place in this world. Playing the hollow. Uncertain, unstable, impressionable, and lost. The hollow does not have a past and is struggling to imagine their future. They're in the midst of an existential crisis, and being not quite real, they can only look to those around them for the answers. The hollow's two stat options slant toward being either Beautiful Enigma, Hot 1, and Dark 2, or an erratic misfit, Volatile 2, and Dark 1. Their cold stat is low, making it hard for them to confront their fears or stand up to others. The hollow is yearning for a sense of self and clinging to any labels which seem like they might help cobble together an identity, which is why so many of their moves revolve around conditions. When you use strange impressions, you can gain any of the skin moves on the relevant sheet. You aren't limited only to the ones which have been selected for that character. When you temporarily gain a move in this way, it does not affect the other character's access to it. If the hollow has sex with more than one person at once, everyone does the writing and revealing simultaneously. If the hollow shared an answer with one or more characters, that's the set of characters who mark experience. Your backstory. You've been taught that taking your social cues from someone and doing so has taught you a lot about them. Gain 2 strings on them. Someone's seen through your invented past and realized it's all lies. They gain 2 strings on you. Darkest self. Your body is a prison. You don't belong inside of it. You need to put it in harm's way and make it suffer, just like it's made you suffer. There's got to be a way to cut yourself out of it. You need to meet your makers. Hold them accountable for what they've done to you. To escape your darkest self, you must come to see how someone else feels more trapped than you do. And as your unique hollow advancement, it looks like you can find other ones like you, created in the same way by the same people. Sex move. When you have sex with someone, both players secretly write down whether the sex was confusing or soothing for their character. If you reveal the same answer, both characters mark experience. Hollow moves. Choose 2. Better than nothing. When you gain a condition, mark experience. A blank canvas. When you take an action that embodies one of your conditions, allowing that condition to alter your sense of self, cross it off and add 1 to your roll. Try harder next time. When you screw up, give yourself an appropriate condition and mark 1 forward. Fake. Add 1 to any rolls you make while lying. Metamorphosis. When you gaze into the abyss, on a 7 or higher, the abyss will also show you what you must become, and you can permanently swap 2 of your stats. Strange impressions. When a main character either harms you or helps you heal, you can respond by studying them. If you do, temporarily gain 1 of their skin moves and add it to your character sheet. It disappears once you use it. The Infernal. At first, it seemed innocent. It gave you things, made you feel good about yourself. You came to it with your problems, and it fixed them. When you asked how you could return the favor, it told you to be patient, that all debts would be settled in due time. That was the first time you heard it mention debts. You've got Satan as your corner man, or a demon in your brain, or maybe the stars glow just for you. Regardless, you owe a debt to something much bigger and scarier than you'll ever be. Playing the Infernal. Tempted, impulsive, and in over their head, the Infernal has a demonic patron, someone who gets them things they want at an unspecified price. The Infernal plays with themes of temptation, addiction, and dependency. The Infernal is extremely powerful while sinking into debt with their dark power, though that pushes them toward an inevitable crash. The crash isn't a punishment to be avoided, but rather a dramatic height in the character arc. When you play the Infernal, don't stop just shy of that 5th string of debt, or try to play it safe. The Infernal is most interesting when they are swinging chaotically between power and powerlessness. With Dark Recruiter, the specifics of what it means to bring someone to the dark power is left up to interpretation and context. It might involve ritual sacrifice or a simple introduction at the cafe. The strings attached bargain plays with the be careful what you wish for trope from stories of witches and genies. Taking this bargain communicates to the MC that you want to be punched in the gut by tragic irony every now and again. Your backstory. You owe debts. Give away 3 strings, divided any way you like, between the dark power and other characters. Someone thinks they can save you. Gain a string on them. Darkest self. You find yourself shivering, needy, alone. The dark power will make some daunting, open-ended demands. Every demand fulfilled brings you closer to feeling whole again, and removes one of the dark power's strings on you. You escape your darkest self, when the dark power is out of strings, or you make a bargain with an even more dangerous entity. Sex move. When you have sex, the dark power loses a string on you and gains a string on whoever you had sex with. Infernal moves. You get soul debt and choose one more. You owe a debt to a dark power. Name it. Choose 2 bargains it has made with you. The dark power can gain strings. The dark power can gain strings if it ever has 5 strings on you. Trigger your darkest self. Dark recruiter. When you bring an innocent soul to the dark power, mark experience. Under pressure. If someone has 3 or more strings on you, add 1 to your rolls to carry out their bidding. Can't save myself. When somebody saves you from forces too powerful for you to reckon with, they mark experience, and you gain a string on them. Bargains. Choose 2 bargains that the dark power has made with you. The power flows through you. You can give the dark power a string in order to add 2 to your next roll. Numbing it out. You can give the dark power a string in order to remove a condition or up to 2 harm. Elsewise power. You can give the dark power a string to use a move you don't have just this once. This move can come from any skin. Uncanny voices. You can give the dark power a string in order to realize a secret about someone you're talking to. The owner of that character will reveal one of their secret fears, secret desires, or secret strengths. They choose which. Strings attached. You can ask the dark power for something that you really want. The MC will attach a price to the thing you want and hint at an undesired twist in its nature. If you pay the price, you will get what you're after. And of course, the boringest one, the mortal. None of them would understand what you have here in this dark and secret place. It's beautiful. They'd warn you that this sort of beauty is dangerous, like a raging fire. Well, some things are getting worth born for. Love has eclipsed all hope, and the dark has left you feeling beautiful. Playing the mortal. Vulnerable, magnetic, and beautiful. For anybody else, giving away a string would represent a loss of control. For you, it's more symbiotic. You get power by giving it away. The mortal and wide-eyed eagerness. The 2 stat choices for the mortal both have hot 2 because the mortal is desirable and special. They differ depending on whether the mortal is more impulsive and panicky, volatile one, or brooding and lonely, dark one. True love is about who you're currently placed at the center of the universe. You don't necessarily need to be in a relationship with someone to declare them your lover. Your sex move might seem like a major drawback, but remember that the mortal can gain a lot of leverage from victimhood. Having lovers suddenly get weird, scary, or hostile after a moment of intimacy gives you the perfect opportunity to take advantage of moves like sympathy is my weapon, excuses are my armor, and down the rabbit hole. Your backstory. Declare your backstory last. Choose one person to be your lover. Give them 3 strings on you. Take 1 string on them. Darkest self. Nobody understands you. Nobody even tries. You do so much for the people you love, and they just walk all over you. Enough is enough. Betray them. Show them what it's like to be uncared for. Reveal their monstrosity and yours. Only seeing the pain that you're causing your lover will let you escape your darkest self. The mortal seems to have no unique advancement, and instead you can choose a 3rd move from any skin. Sex move. When you have sex with someone, it awakens something sinister within. The next time you take your eyes off them, they become their darkest self. Mortal moves. You gain true love and choose 2 more. You always have exactly 1 lover. The first is chosen during your backstory. If you ever fall in love with someone else instead, give them a string and they become your new lover. You always carry 1 forward to earning your lover's heart or fancy. Mess with me, mess with him. When using your lover's name as a threat, add 2 to shut someone down or keep your cool. Your lover gains a string on you. Entrenched. If you and another character have a combined total of 5 or more strings on one another, gain 1 to all rolls against them. Sympathy is my weapon. Every time you forgive someone for hurting you and excuse their base nature, take a string on them. Excuses are my armor. When you ignore some blatant problem with your lover or how they treat you, mark experience. Downward spiral. When you gaze into the abyss, you may cause yourself 1 harm. If you do, add 2 to your roll. Down the rabbit hole. When you go poking your nose in affairs not meant for your kind, someone involved in this situation gains a string on you, and you mark experience. It's a bit early. I might stop here. I really thought we'd get through all the skins today. I think there were a few more than I were counting on. I was familiar with most of them. I don't think I knew about the Hollow. I guess I've never seen anyone play it before. So we'll end here. I don't think I'll have time to be back tonight with inversions. There will be most likely no stream tomorrow, so we will pick up Monster Hearts again on Monday. And since the last part that we didn't get through the skins is a bit shorter, we should also be doing our weekly reading on Monday.